China is amazing. I was actually out there a few months ago, and I can tell you firsthand that most of what you see online about its beauty, big buildings, food, and so on is true. The country is building and improving at a rapid pace. From the towering skyscrapers of Beijing to the bustling streets of Shanghai, the progress is undeniable. Beijing was probably the best travel experience of my life so far, and I really mean it. Let's be real. The people, the cities, and the food are the real deal. But ever since I left Beijing and Shanghai for the smaller cities, something's been bugging me. I just felt like something was wrong. I couldn't really grasp it at first, but then it slowly kicked in. I felt like it was all fake, an illusion. All this progress that China had been making was great, but it wasn't really benefiting everyone. I would actually say that the progress was only helping a small percentage of the people, a really small percentage. It definitely wasn't helping the majority, and you could see it clearly. China's big cities are growing rapidly, showcasing glitzy skyscrapers, advanced technology, and a lifestyle that seems to rival the best in the world. The development is impressive, with new infrastructure projects, high-speed trains, and modern amenities popping up everywhere. It's easy to be amazed by the surface-level advancements. However, beneath this shiny exterior lies a dark secret. Spend enough time in China and you'll start to feel it. The prosperity in major cities like Beijing and Shanghai is starkly contrasted by the harsh realities of rural areas. While some people in these cities earn millions and live in luxury, others in the countryside are struggling to survive. Let's talk about the ghost cities of China. So I'll start off by saying that I, like many others, have always known about China's ghost cities. We've all probably heard stories about Chinese projects going all wrong when no one moves into the newly built cities. But after my trip to China, I did some more research on this. I went to the best source for information, YouTube, of course. I found this YouTuber who goes by the name of Serpent ZA. This is a South African guy who lived in China for many years before leaving the country for good. If you want to know more about why he left, you can watch his videos. I'll link his channel in the description. So this guy mentions how these ghost cities aren't just isolated incidents. They're scattered all over the country. In places like Liaoning Province, Hunan, Shandong near Qingdao, and Guangdong, you see empty buildings and soulless structures that once promised a future now stand abandoned. Why? I personally believe that one part of it is because no one can afford to buy these apartments. People simply don't have the money for it. But these ghost cities are symbols of a much bigger problem. Near the big city of Guangzhou in the outskirts, you can literally see these ghost cities everywhere. And of course, there's Inner Mongolia, famous for its eerie, vacant complexes. These ghost cities aren't just eyesores. They're manifestations of an economic strategy that's leaving many behind. China's wealth is concentrated in real estate, with about 70% of it tied up in properties. Apartments in cities like Beijing and Shanghai are worth millions of dollars, yet rural areas are left to fend for themselves. People invest in these ghost cities because they have no other safe investment options. The stock market is unstable, Bitcoin is illegal, and other investments are either unavailable or too risky. Real estate, on the other hand, has always been seen as a foolproof investment. Buy an apartment, sit on it for a few years, sell it for a profit, and repeat. This cycle has created a facade of prosperity, but it's simply an illusion. The real estate market is built on debt, and now it's starting to crumble. Evergrande, a major real estate developer, has been in the news for its financial troubles, which Serpent also highlights. But it's not just Evergrande. Every real estate company in China is in deep trouble. The government tried to curb this with the Three Red Lines policy, which restricts the amount of debt companies can take on. Not a single real estate company in the country met the criteria, and now they're all struggling to pay off their debts. So what's the impact of all this on ordinary people? In major cities, some earn millions and live in luxury, boasting on Douyin, the Chinese TikTok, and other social media apps, while others in rural areas eat food from the gutters and struggle to survive. The government's focus on urban development leaves rural communities in the dust, creating a massive economic divide. In rural China, people live in poverty. They lack access to quality education, healthcare, and basic infrastructure. Children grow up with little hope of a better future, and elderly people are left with no one to care for them. Meanwhile, young people migrate to cities, hoping for better opportunities, but often end up facing harsh realities. low wages, high living costs, and exploitation. When I was in Beijing, I talked to a lot of people my age, between 20 and 25, and one thing I realized then was that not a single one of them was from Beijing. Everyone I talked to was from the countryside and came in for work. I didn't think much of it then, but now it's strange to think about. Not a single one was from Beijing. That just goes to show how bad the situation is. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's sweeping through China right now, the Let It Rot movement, also known as Bailan. This is a new phenomenon where young people are refusing to put in further effort into life because they just can't see any hope in doing so. It's kind of like lying flat, but even more disheartening. They're basically giving up on ambition because the system isn't rewarding their hard work. Hard work isn't rewarded in China the way it is in other places. If you put in more effort, you often just get more work piled on you with no additional pay. This has led to a lot of frustration among young people who see that the only way to get ahead is through connections and nepotism, not merit. People with master's degrees and high qualifications often find themselves in low-paying jobs, while those with the right connections live in luxury. It's no wonder that many young people are deciding it's not worth the effort. The government's strategy of developing big cities at the expense of rural areas is widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Listen up. I love China and its people. But it's time to face the truth. The illusion of progress in China's big cities is masking the harsh reality of rural poverty. True progress is inclusive. It's about lifting everyone, not just a few. The higher-ups in China need to realize this. Until then, the illusion of progress will continue to overshadow the real struggles of millions. That's it. Peace.